The massive crystal hall stretched high above Commander Taman Park's head. 47 different alien voices filled the air, all speaking at once through translation devices. The sound made his teeth ache. He stood in the center of the circle, hands clasped behind his back, watching the creatures that would decide humanity's fate. Some looked almost human. Others were so strange that Taman had to force himself not to stare. The Etherians glowed with soft blue light. The Calarians looked like walking trees with too many arms. The hegemony representatives wore dark armor that hid their faces completely. Silence called Prime Velthar from his floating platform. The old Etherian's voice echoed through the chamber. His people had been traveling the stars for 10,000 years. They were the oldest race in the galaxy, and everyone listened when they spoke. Taimian felt Dr. Hyojin Ko shift beside him. She had spent 15 years studying these aliens, learning their languages and customs. Captain Dongwoo Kim stood on his other side, perfectly still in his military uniform. All three humans knew this moment would change everything. The council has reached its decision, Velthar announced. His glowing form pulsed brighter. We have studied the species known as humans from the world they call Earth. We have watched their behavior. We have seen their history. A holographic display appeared above the chamber. Images flashed by showing human wars, human cities, human spacecraft. Taman recognized some of the footage. Much of it came from Earth's news broadcasts and historical records. These creatures are violent, said General Korthvan of the hegemony. His mechanical voice was cold and hard. They fight endless wars among themselves. They destroy their own environment. They cannot be trusted with galactic civilization. More images appeared. Nuclear explosions, polluted oceans, burning forests. Taman's jaw tightened. They were showing only the worst parts of human history. They are also unpredictable, added Counselor Jira of the Nexus Collective. Her insect-like form clicked as she spoke. Our behavioral models cannot predict their actions. This makes them dangerous to peaceful species. Dr. Ko started to speak, but Velthar raised one glowing hand for silence. The Council has made its decision, he said. The species known as humans will be restricted to their home system. They may not establish colonies beyond the star they call Sol. They may not create trade routes with other worlds. They may not attempt diplomatic contact with any member of the Galactic Council. The words hit Taman like a physical blow. 3 years of careful preparation. Decades of humanity's best efforts to prove they deserved a place among the stars. All of it meant nothing. Any attempt to violate this restriction will result in immediate military action, Korthvan added. Your species will learn to be content with one world. Holograms appeared around the chamber showing the seal of each council member. One by one, they glowed as each representative cast their vote. 47 seals, 47 votes against humanity. Not a single voice spoke in their defense. The vote is unanimous, Velthar declared. Humanity is forbidden from joining galactic civilization. This decision is final. Taman felt something cold settle in his stomach. Behind him, he heard Dr. Ko take a shaky breath. Captain Kim remained perfectly still, but his hands had moved to rest on his belt. Do the human representatives have anything to say? Velthar asked. His tone suggested he expected them to beg or plead. Taman stepped forward. The eyes of 47 different species focused on him. Some glowed. Some reflected light like mirrors. Others were so alien he could not tell if they were eyes at all. We understand your decision, he said simply. His voice carried clearly through the translation systems. We will inform our government. Several council members shifted in surprise. They had expected anger or desperate arguments. Instead, the humans simply accepted their judgment. Very wise, Velthar said. Perhaps your species can learn wisdom in isolation. 2 tall guards stepped forward. Their golden armor marked them as council peacekeepers. They would escort the humans from the chamber and off the station. As they walked through the long corridors, Dr. Ko whispered urgently. Taman, we have to try again. Maybe if we show them more about human culture, about our achievements in art and science. No, Taman said quietly. They've made their choice. Captain Kim said nothing, but his eyes were hard as steel. They reached their small ship in the docking bay. Other vessels surrounded them, representing dozens of different civilizations. Ships that could travel between stars and days. Ships that carried goods and people across the galaxy. Ships that would never welcome humans aboard. Once they were in space, heading back toward Earth, Taman activated the quantum communicator. The device hummed to life, sending his words instantly across the vast distance to home. "Control, this is Ambassador 1, he said into the microphone. "We hear you, Ambassador 1, came the reply. Taemin recognized the voice of Ji-Ho Lee, director of the Terran Colonial Initiative. "The fishing nets are cast," Taemin said. There was a pause. Then Ji-Ho's voice came back, different now, harder. "Understood, Ambassador 1. The fish are already in the net." Dr. Ko looked confused. "What does that mean?" Captain Kim answered her, his voice filled with grim satisfaction. "It means they think they're stopping us from reaching the stars. But we can't expand now," Dr. Ko said. "They'll destroy any colony ships we send out." Taemin turned to look at her. For the first time since leaving the council chamber, he smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. "Dr. Ko," he said slowly, "what makes you think we haven't been expanding already?" She stared at him. "What do you mean? How long do you think it takes to plan a colony mission?" Captain Kim asked. 5 years? 10 years? "At least that long," Dr. Ko replied. "We've been planning for over a century," Taemin said. "The council thinks they're preventing something that might happen. They don't realize it's already been happening for decades." The ship's communication system chimed. A message was coming in from Earth, but it was heavily encrypted. Captain Kim entered his codes and the message appeared on screen. It showed a star map. Dozens of systems were marked with small green dots. Each dot represented something the council didn't know about, something they hadn't even imagined. "My God," Dr. Ko whispered. "How many?" 47 systems, Taemin said. "One for every council member who voted against us today." Behind them, the council station grew smaller and smaller until it disappeared among the stars. The 3 humans continued their journey home, carrying news of humanity's official rejection by galactic civilization. None of them looked back. They were too busy thinking about the future, a future that had already begun in secret in the dark spaces between the stars, a future the council had just made inevitable by trying to prevent it. The moment for stopping humanity had already passed. The council just didn't know it yet. Sujin Choi wiped sweat from her forehead and looked out across the mining operation. Giant machines moved like metal dinosaurs across the red landscape of Kepler 442b. The planet was rich in trilithium, a rare mineral that made faster-than-light travel possible. The Galactic Council thought this mine belonged to the Calarian Trade Federation. They were wrong. "Morning shift report," called her assistant, walking up with a datapad. To anyone watching, he looked like a typical Calarian worker. Green skin, long arms, tree-like features. But Sujin knew the truth. The biomask hid human features underneath, like her, like everyone else working this mine. "How are the new tunnels?" Sujin asked in Calarian. She had learned the language years ago, along with their customs and behavior patterns. The translation implant in her throat made her voice sound exactly right. "Excellent progress," he replied, also in Calarian. "We'll hit the main vein by next week." Sujin nodded and made notes on her pad. Around them, dozens of Calarian workers continued their jobs. Loading ore, operating machinery, checking equipment. None of the real Calarian supervisors who visited monthly suspected anything. The humans were better workers than most actual Calarians. This operation had been running for 12 years. In that time, they had extracted enough trilithium to power 100 starships. Most of it went to other human colonies through carefully hidden trade routes. The council received regular reports showing normal Calarian mining output. They had no idea how much extra material was leaving the planet. 3 systems away, Woojin Nam stood on the bridge of the cargo hauler Steady Profit. To the council's traffic controllers, his ship was just another automated transport carrying goods between worlds. The manifest listed the crew as AI navigation system, no biological personnel. That was technically true. The ship's computer did handle navigation and communications with council stations, but the 23 humans aboard were very much alive and very busy. "Captain," called his first officer from her station. Like all of them, she wore a simple jumpsuit with no identifying marks. "We're receiving clearance for the Vega approach." "Acknowledged," Woojin replied. He switched to the ship's internal communication system. "All hands prepare for system entry. Remember, we don't exist." The ship slowed from faster-than-light speed and entered the Vega system. Immediately, council patrol ships appeared on their sensors. The patrols were routine, checking manifests and scanning for problems. They paid no attention to another boring cargo hauler. Woojin's ship was one of over 200 similar vessels, all officially automated, all carrying human crews. Together, they formed the galaxy's largest shipping network. The Council relied on these ships to move goods between their worlds. They had no idea that humans were mapping every trade route, cataloging every world, learning the locations of every important facility in their territory. Course laid in for Proxima Centauri B, his navigator reported. Execute, Wujin said. The ship jumped back into faster-than-light travel. Proxima Centauri B looked like an empty world from space. Council surveys had declared it suitable for terraforming but currently uninhabited. The thick jungle canopy hid everything underneath from orbital sensors. Yunsu Park walked through that jungle, checking on the newest section of New Seoul. The city sprawled for kilometers under the native trees, its buildings designed to blend with the natural environment. Solar collectors disguised as leaves gathered energy. Water systems followed natural stream patterns. From above, everything looked completely normal. Population report, she asked her aide as they walked past the school. 53,412 as of this morning, he replied. The Chen family had twins yesterday. Through the transparent walls, Yunsu could see human children playing with toys and learning from holographic teachers. Some of their parents had been born on Earth. Others had never seen humanity's homeworld. They were the first generation of humans born free among the stars. Any problems with the screening? She asked. None. The Council patrol passed overhead last week. All they detected were normal jungle sounds and animal life signs. The screening technology was one of humanity's greatest achievements. It created false sensor readings that showed exactly what observers expected to see. A Council ship scanning this world would detect plants, animals, weather patterns, but no signs of intelligent life. Madam Administrator, called a voice from behind them. Yunsu turned to see Dr. Young-ho running toward them. He was breathing hard and looked excited. What is it? She asked. We just received a message from Earth, he said, holding up a communication device. The Council has made their decision. Yunsu took the device and read the message. Her expression didn't change, but her aide noticed her hands tighten slightly. What does it say? He asked. Humanity has been forbidden from expanding beyond the Sol system, Yunsu said calmly. Any attempt to establish colonies will be met with military force. Dr. Young-ho laughed. It was not a happy sound. A little late for that, isn't it? Yunsu looked around at the city hidden in the jungle, at the 50,000 humans who called this place home, at the children who had never known a world where humans were restricted to one system. Send a message to all colonies, she said. Tell them the Council has spoken. Tell them it changes nothing. Her aide activated his communicator. Within minutes, similar messages would reach human settlements on dozens of worlds, mining operations on mineral-rich planets, research stations and nebulae, trading posts and asteroid fields, all of them hidden, all of them thriving. Back on Kepler 442b, Sujin received the message while reviewing mining reports. She read it twice, then deleted it from her system. Any problems? Her assistant asked. No problems, Sujin replied. Just news from home. Nothing that affects us, she was right. The Council's decision would not affect them. How could it stop something that had been happening for decades? How could it forbid colonies that already existed? In space above Vega Prime, Wujin's ship joined a convoy of other automated haulers. The formation looked like a normal trade fleet to anyone watching, but each ship carried human crews, human cargo, and human dreams of expansion. Captain, his communications officer called. We're receiving a coded transmission from Earth. Put it through, Wujin said. The message was brief and encoded, but its meaning was clear. The Council had voted. Humanity was banned from the stars. Wujin looked at his crew. 23 humans who had spent years traveling between alien worlds. Who knew the galaxy better than most Council members? Who had helped build a network of human presence that stretched across hundreds of light years? What are your orders, Captain? His first officer asked. Same as always, Wujin replied. We keep flying. We keep mapping. We keep building. He turned back to the star chart showing their next delivery route. The galaxy was vast and full of opportunities. The Council thought they could draw lines on maps and declare certain areas off limits to humans. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The web of human expansion had been growing for decades, hidden in the shadows between worlds. Now the Council had made their move, thinking they were preventing a future threat. But the future had already arrived. They just didn't know it yet. The emergency session of the Galactic Council began 3 months after they had banned humanity from the stars. Prime Velthar floated at the center of the crystal chamber, his blue glow dimmer than usual. Around him, representatives from 47 species waited in tense silence. "We have a problem," Admiral Korthvan announced. His mechanical voice echoed through the hall as he activated a massive holographic display. "A very serious problem." The display showed star charts of Council space. Red warning markers appeared on dozens of systems. Each marker pulsed like a warning signal. "These locations show signs of unauthorized industrial activity," Korthvan continued. "Mining operations that don't match our records. Energy signatures from worlds that should be empty. Shipping routes to coordinates that officially don't exist." Counselor Zira clicked nervously. "Perhaps there are errors in our sensors." "I thought so too," Korthvan replied. "So I sent investigation teams to 17 different systems." New images appeared on the display. This is what they found. The first image showed a mining operation on Kepler 442b. Massive machines extracted ore from deep tunnels. The operation was clearly advanced and well established. "According to our records, this mine produces 500 tons of trilithium per month," Korthvan said. "Our investigators found evidence of extraction levels exceeding 2,000 tons per month. Where is the extra material going?" More images appeared. Each one showed signs of activity where none should exist. Processed materials being moved through space. Energy readings from uninhabited worlds. Communication signals from empty systems. "The most disturbing discovery," Korthvan continued, "involves our shipping network." The display changed to show space traffic patterns. Thousands of cargo ships moved along established trade routes carrying goods between Council worlds. "We track all registered vessels," Korthvan explained, "but our investigators noticed something strange. 43 ships in our database are listed as automated haulers with AI crews only. However, detailed scans revealed biological life signs aboard these vessels." Prime Velthar pulsed brighter. "What kind of biological life signs?" "Unknown species," Korthvan replied. "The ships carry advanced screening technology that makes detailed identification impossible. But there are definitely living beings aboard vessels that should be completely automated." The chamber filled with worried whispers. Automated ships were cheaper and more reliable than crewed vessels. Many Council worlds depended on them for essential supplies. "There's more," Korthvan continued. "On Nexus Prime, our researchers made breakthrough discoveries in quantum mechanics and biological engineering. Progress that should have taken decades happened in just a few years." "That's good news," said Counselor Zira. "It would be. If our scientists could explain how they made these discoveries," Korthvan replied. When questioned, they claimed the insights came from a research assistant named Yong-Soo Lim. "According to our employment records, this individual has been working on Nexus Prime for 8 years. His credentials show advanced degrees from the Calarian Science Institute." "What's wrong with that?" Velthar asked. "The Calarian Science Institute has no record of anyone by that name," Korthvan said. "In fact, they've never had a student with his particular combination of genetic markers." The implications hit the Council like a physical blow. If someone could create false credentials good enough to fool their security systems, what else might they be hiding? "We need to consider the possibility," Korthvan said slowly, "that we're dealing with an organized infiltration effort." On the human colony world of Proxima Centauri b, Yunsu Park received an encrypted message from Earth. She read it carefully, then called an emergency meeting of the Colonial Council. "The Council is getting suspicious," she announced to the 12 humans gathered in the hidden conference room. "They're finding traces of our operations." "How much do they know?" asked Dr. Young-ho. "Not everything, but enough to start asking dangerous questions," Yunsu replied. "It's time for Phase 2. Back in the Council chamber, Prime Velthar was trying to understand the scope of the problem. How many individuals could be involved in this infiltration? He asked. "Unknown," Korthvan replied. "But consider this. If someone can create false identities and credentials, they could have people placed throughout our civilization. In our research centers, in our shipping networks, in our government facilities." The thought terrified the Council members. Their civilization was built on trust and cooperation. The idea that unknown individuals had been secretly working among them for years challenged everything they believed about galactic society. "What species could organize such an operation?" Velthar asked. "There's one obvious candidate," Korthvan said. "The species we recently banned from galactic expansion. Silence fell over the chamber. The humans they had dismissed as too primitive and violent for galactic civilization, the species they had restricted to one small system. Impossible, said Counselor Jira. Humans don't have the technology for such an operation. They've barely achieved faster than light travel. According to our intelligence reports, Korthovan replied, human civilization achieved faster than light travel over 60 years ago, more than enough time to establish hidden colonies and infiltration networks. On Earth, Prime Minister Dae-Eun Kim stood before the global parliament. The massive chamber was filled with representatives from every nation on the planet. Behind her, a holographic display showed the Galaxy Council's emergency session, intercepted by human intelligence operatives. Fellow citizens of Earth, she began, the time for secrecy has ended. For over a century, we have pursued a careful policy of expansion and exploration. While the Galactic Council debated whether to allow us into their civilization, we were already becoming part of it. Images appeared on the display, human colonies on dozens of worlds, mining operations extracting resources throughout the galaxy, research stations making breakthrough discoveries, trading networks connecting distant systems. Operation Dandelion Seed has been our greatest achievement, Dae-Eun continued. Like dandelion seeds scattered by the wind, our people have spread across the galaxy. We have established communities on 47 different worlds. We have built the largest shipping network in council space. We have advanced the frontiers of science and technology. In the Parliament chamber, representatives sat in stunned silence. They had known their government was working on space exploration, but the scope of human expansion was far beyond anything they had imagined. The Council has voted to forbid human expansion, Dae-Eun said. They believe they are preventing a future threat. They do not understand that the future has already arrived. Back on the council station, Min-Ho Song continued his work as a maintenance technician. He had been cleaning floors and repairing equipment on the station for 12 years. In that time, he had installed dozens of small monitoring devices throughout the facility. Every conversation, every classified document, every secret meeting was recorded and transmitted to human intelligence. The council members didn't notice him as he worked. To them, he was just another service worker, invisible and unimportant. They never suspected that he understood every word they spoke, that he analyzed their discussions, that he reported their plans to human commanders light years away. As the emergency session continued, Min-Ho listened to the growing panic in the council's voices. They were beginning to understand the truth, but it was already too late. We must take immediate action, Korthovan declared. Every individual with suspicious credentials must be investigated. Every automated ship must be boarded and inspected. Every research breakthrough must be verified. The cost would be enormous, Velthar protested. It would disrupt our entire civilization. The cost of doing nothing could be worse, Korthovan replied. Min-Ho smiled as he continued mopping the floor. The council was finally beginning to understand what they were dealing with. But understanding and stopping it were two very different things. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity could not be contained by votes or declarations. They were already part of the fabric of galactic civilization, woven so tightly into its structure that removing them would tear everything apart. The news spread across the galaxy like wildfire. On every council world, government officials were checking employment records, scanning cargo manifests, and questioning people they had trusted for years. The revelation that humans had been secretly integrated into galactic civilization sent shockwaves through every system. Bitna. Yoon was in her office on the trading station at Altair Prime when the security forces arrived. She had been expecting them. For 40 years, she had posed as a successful Calarian merchant, building one of the most profitable shipping businesses in the sector. Her family company controlled 3 major trade routes between council worlds. Citizen Yoon, the security chief announced as his team filed into her office. You are under investigation for identity fraud and unauthorized species infiltration. Bitna smiled and calmly closed the holographic reports she had been reviewing. I assume you want to see my credentials? We already know they're fake, the security chief replied. Genetic scans reveal you are not Calarian. Remove the biomask and reveal your true identity. As you wish, Bitna said. She touched a small device behind her ear. The biomask that had hidden her human features for decades dissolved away, revealing her true face. The security team stepped back in shock. They had been expecting an unknown alien species, perhaps some new threat to the galaxy. Instead, they saw a human woman in her 60s with graying hair and intelligent brown eyes. "My name is Bitna Yoon," she said in perfect council standard. "I am a citizen of the Terran Federation, and I have been doing business in this sector since before some of you were born." "Impossible," the security chief stuttered. "Humans were forbidden from entering council space. Humans were forbidden from entering council space 3 months ago," Bitna corrected him. "I've been here for 4 decades. During that time, my company has transported over 2 million tons of cargo, employed 3,000 workers, and contributed billions of credits to the local economy." She gestured toward the large windows overlooking the busy trading station. Hundreds of ships moved through the docking bays, loading and unloading goods from across the galaxy. "Half of those ships are carrying cargo arranged through my company," Bitna continued. "The food supplies going to Vega Prime, the medical equipment being sent to the Nexus colonies, the raw materials that keep your industrial worlds running. How exactly do you plan to maintain those supply chains without my network?" The security chief had no answer. He could arrest this woman, but doing so would cripple trade throughout the sector. Similar scenes were playing out across the galaxy. On Vela Prime, the Council's industrial investigators arrived at the largest atmospheric processing plant in the system. They came expecting to find a few infiltrators among the workforce. Instead, they discovered that nearly half the plant's employees were humans using biomasks and false identities. Chan Ho Bei, the plant's general manager, had been running the facility for 18 years. Under his leadership, production had increased by 300%. The plant now provided clean air for 12 different worlds and employed over 50,000 people. "You cannot shut down this operation," Chan Ho told the investigators. 17 million people depend on the atmosphere processors we manufacture here. If you stop production, those worlds will face environmental collapse within months." "You're here illegally," the lead investigator replied. "I'm here productively," Chan Ho countered. "My people have turned this plant into the most efficient facility of its kind in the galaxy. We've reduced production costs by 40% while improving quality standards. We've created jobs for thousands of local workers and generated massive tax revenues for the planetary government." The investigator looked at the production reports. The numbers were undeniable. This plant was crucial to the survival of multiple worlds. "Besides," Chan Ho continued, "where exactly is the harm? We've been here for nearly 2 decades. In that time, have we started any wars? Have we destroyed any environments? Have we threatened any species? All we've done is work hard and contribute to galactic civilization." On the capital world of the Council itself, Seira Jung was having a very different conversation. As a diplomatic aide to the Etherian delegation, she had access to classified information about Council operations. For 8 years, she had been carefully documenting everything she learned. "How long have you been spying on us?" Prime Velthar asked. His blue glow was dim with anger and betrayal. "I prefer the term cultural exchange," Kimsira replied calmly. "I've been learning about your civilization while contributing my own skills and knowledge. I've helped negotiate 17 different trade agreements, mediated 6 territorial disputes, and drafted the protocols for first contact with 3 new species, all while secretly reporting to your government," Velthar accused. "Yes," Seira admitted, "just as your intelligence services monitor developments throughout the galaxy. The only difference is that my reports led to greater cooperation, not military preparations." She activated a holographic display showing her work over the past 8 years, trade agreements that had brought prosperity to dozens of worlds, peaceful resolutions to conflicts that could have led to war, successful first contact protocols that had welcomed new species into the galactic community. Every one of these achievements involved human insights and methods, Seira continued. "We didn't infiltrate your government to harm it. We joined it to improve it. The most devastating revelation came from the Xenoarchaeology project on Rigel 7. The team had been working for 6 years to establish contact with a newly discovered intelligent species. The project was considered one of the Council's greatest scientific achievements. The team leader, Dr. Gyuri Moon, had developed the protocols that made peaceful contact possible. Her methods were now standard procedure for all first contact situations throughout the galaxy. When the investigators arrived, they found her examining artifacts in the main laboratory. She looked up from her work with a slight smile. "I've been expecting you," she said. "Dr. Moon, you are accused of operating under false credentials," the lead investigator announced. "Our records show no trace of your claimed educational background." "That's because I received my education on Earth," Guri replied. "I have degrees in xenoarchaeology, anthropology, and linguistics from the University of Seoul. I also have 23 years of field experience, studying alien cultures. But you're listed in our database as a Nexus, collective citizen," the investigator protested. "That was necessary to get this job," Guri admitted. "The Council doesn't hire humans for sensitive positions like first contact research. But as you can see from the results, human methods are extremely effective." She gestured toward the communication chamber where her team was conducting their daily session. "With the newly contacted species, we've achieved stable communication with the Viridians in just 6 years," she continued. "Previous first contact efforts by the Council have taken decades to reach this level of understanding. The difference is that humans have experience dealing with multiple sapient species on our home world. We understand diversity in ways that homogeneous alien cultures cannot." The investigator looked through her research files. The work was brilliant and groundbreaking. The methods she had developed would be used for generations to come. "Furthermore," Guri added, 3 of my team members are also humans. Together, we've made discoveries that have advanced the field of xenoarchaeology by decades." "Are you going to throw away all that progress because you don't like our species?" Across the galaxy, the same pattern repeated. Human infiltrators were revealed in positions of responsibility and importance. Each one had made significant contributions to their workplace and community. Removing them would cause massive disruption to essential services. The Council faced an impossible choice. They could arrest the humans and cripple their own civilization, or they could acknowledge that their infiltrators had become integral parts of galactic society. On Earth, Prime Minister Dayun Kim watched the chaos unfold through intelligence reports. She stood in her office overlooking the lights of New Seoul, speaking with her senior advisors. "How many of our people have been discovered?" she asked. "About 200 so far," replied Intelligence Director Park Min-jun. "But that's less than 5% of our total placement. Most of our people remain undetected." "And the Council's response?" "Confusion and panic," Min-jun reported. "They want to remove our people, but they can't do it without causing massive economic and social disruption. We've become too integrated into their systems." Dayun nodded. This was exactly what Operation Dandelion Seed had been designed to achieve. Not conquest or domination, but integration so complete that separation would be impossible. "What about our colonies?" she asked. "All secure and continuing normal operations," Min-jun replied. "The Council knows they exist, but they can't take action without admitting they've lost control of their own territory." "Then it's time for the final phase," Dayun said. "Contact Commander Taemin. Tell him to prepare for full diplomatic engagement." The galaxy was about to learn that humanity had not infiltrated their civilization to destroy it. They had joined it to transform it. The old order of species-based hierarchy and ancient privilege was about to give W 6 months after the failed ban. The galaxy looked completely different. The old council chamber stood empty, its crystal walls reflecting only silence. The representatives who had once gathered there to vote on humanity's fate were now scattered across dozens of worlds, trying to understand how their civilization had changed so quickly. Commander Taemin Park stood in a much larger chamber on the neutral world of Harmony Station. Around him, delegates from every species in the galaxy waited to hear humanity's proposal for the future. But this time, Taemin was not asking for permission to join their civilization. He was offering to help them build a better one. "Members of the Galactic Assembly," he began, his voice carrying clearly through the new translation system. 6 months ago, your council voted to forbid humanity from expanding beyond our home system. You believed you were preventing a future threat to galactic civilization. Holographic displays around the chamber showed images from across the galaxy, human colonies on dozens of worlds, mining operations that had supplied crucial resources for decades, trading networks that connected distant systems, research stations where human scientists worked alongside alien colleagues. What you actually did was reveal how completely humans had already become part of your civilization, Taemin continued. For over a century, we have been your miners, your traders, your researchers, your teachers. We have been the invisible partners who helped build the prosperity you enjoy. Prime Velthar, looking older and dimmer than before, spoke from his floating platform. You deceived us. You infiltrated our government and our institutions. We participated in your government and institutions, Taemin corrected him. We contributed our skills and knowledge to advance galactic civilization. The question is, why did we have to hide our identity to do so? Jinwoo Han, humanity's first official ambassador, stepped forward with a thick document in his hands. We are here to present a new framework for galactic governance, one based on merit and contribution, rather than species membership and ancient privilege. The document appeared as holograms throughout the chamber. It outlined a completely new system for organizing galactic civilization. Instead of species-based representation, worlds would be governed by elected councils chosen without regard to biology. Instead of ancient races holding permanent authority, leadership positions would rotate based on competence and achievement. This is impossible, Admiral Korthvan protested. Our civilization has existed for millennia under the current system. And look where it has led, Jinwoo replied. Stagnation, fear of change, exclusion of new ideas and perspectives. Meanwhile, human participation has brought innovation and progress wherever it has been allowed. To demonstrate his point, Dr. Seo Hyun Kang activated a massive holographic projector, the chamber filled with a three-dimensional model of a new type of starship drive. This is quantum fold technology, she announced. It allows faster-than-light travel at 10 times the speed of current hyperspace drives. It's completely clean, using zero-point energy instead of trilithium fuel. It would revolutionize transportation throughout the galaxy. The alien delegates stared at the technical specifications in amazement. This was beyond anything in their current technology. The research was completed last week, Dr. Kang continued. It represents a collaboration between human quantum physicists and Nexus collective mathematicians, working together openly for the first time. This is what becomes possible when species cooperate as equals instead of hiding behind artificial barriers. But, she added with a slight smile, this technology will only be shared with civilizations that embrace true cooperation. We will not give advanced weapons to governments that exclude species based on prejudice. The threat was clear but politely stated. Humanity had the power to advance galactic civilization by centuries. But they would only do so under a new system that treated all species fairly. Counselor Jira clicked nervously. What guarantees do we have that humans won't use their technology to dominate other species? The same guarantee you've always had, Taemin replied. Our actions over the past century. We could have revealed our presence at any time. We could have used our knowledge of your civilizations for conquest or domination. Instead, we chose cooperation and mutual benefit. Haiyan Wu Xin, a philosopher and strategic thinker, stepped forward to address the deeper questions. You fear us because you think we are like you. You believe that given power, we would exclude and dominate others the way your species have done for millennia, but our entire history of secret integration proves otherwise. Images appeared showing human contributions to galactic civilization, increased production on dozens of worlds, peaceful resolution of conflicts, scientific breakthroughs that had benefited everyone, successful first contact with new species. We had the opportunity to sabotage your civilization from within, Hyunwoo continued. We could have caused wars, destroyed infrastructure, stolen technology. Instead, we helped you build a better galaxy. That is the guarantee of our intentions. The debate continued for hours. Some delegates argued for maintaining the old system. Others recognized that change was inevitable. But the most powerful arguments came from an unexpected source. One by one, non-human individuals who had worked with humans began to speak. Kellerian supervisors who had seen mining efficiency increased dramatically under human management. Nexus researchers who had made breakthrough discoveries with human colleagues. Etherian diplomats who had successfully mediated conflicts using human-developed protocols. I have worked with Dr. Young-Soo Lim for 8 years, announced Professor Zekthar of the Nexus Collective. I thought he was one of our species. When I learned he was human, nothing changed except my understanding of what humans are capable of. He is the finest quantum physicist I have ever known. His species is irrelevant to his contributions. Similar testimonials came from across the galaxy. The humans who had been discovered were not seen as infiltrators by their colleagues. They were seen as valued team members whose species had been irrelevant to their relationships. "The old system is already dead," announced Goral Kess, a delegate from the Outer Rim territories. "You cannot uninvent the knowledge that humans have shared. You cannot undo the relationships that have been built. You cannot return to a galaxy where merit matters less than biology." As the day wore on, it became clear that the momentum was shifting toward humanity's proposal. The old guard, led by Velthar and Korthvan, was losing support even from their own species. Finally, Mikyung-O, the director of the new Integrated Colonial Initiative, presented the final element of humanity's proposal. "We are not asking you to abandon your worlds or your cultures," she said. "We are asking you to join us in building something new. Integrated colonies where multiple species work together from the beginning. Mixed crews on exploration vessels. Joint research projects that combine the best ideas from all our civilizations." She activated a display showing the first integrated colony ship. It was massive, designed to carry families from dozens of different species to a new world where they would build a truly mixed civilization. "The first colony ship launches next month," Mikyung announced. "We have applications from 47 different species, including many from worlds that once supported the ban on human expansion. This is the future we are offering. Not human domination, but true partnership." The vote, when it finally came, was not even close. 39 species voted to accept humanity's proposal for reorganizing galactic civilization. Only 8 voted to maintain the old system. As the delegates filed out of the chamber, Taemin found himself facing Velthar. The ancient Etherian looked tired and defeated. "You have destroyed everything we built," Velthar said. "No," Taemin replied gently. "We have fulfilled everything you claim to believe. Peace between species, cooperation in exploring the galaxy, advancement through shared knowledge. The only thing we destroyed was the artificial barriers that prevented those ideals from becoming reality." 1 year later, Taemin stood on the observation deck of New Harmony Station, watching the traffic flow through the system. Ships from hundreds of worlds moved in carefully coordinated patterns. Human vessels worked alongside alien craft. Mixed crews operated trading ships, exploration vessels, and research platforms. The transformation had been faster than anyone expected. Once the artificial barriers fell, cooperation flourished naturally. Species that had maintained rigid separation for millennia discovered they had much in common. Technologies that had been hoarded by individual species were shared openly, leading to rapid advancement for everyone. "Commander," called a voice behind him. Taemin turned to see Dr. Ko, now serving as Director of Interspecies Cultural Exchange. "The latest reports from the Outer Rim colonies," she said, handing him a datapad. "All 16 mixed settlements are exceeding their development goals. Turns out different species really do work better together." Taemin smiled as he read the reports. Human engineering working with Kellarian biology. Nexus mathematics combined with Etherian energy manipulation. Each colony was discovering new possibilities that no single species could have achieved alone. "Any word from Earth?" he asked. "Prime Minister Da-Eun is preparing for the first interspecies youth exchange," Dr. Ko replied. "Next year, students from 30 different worlds will study on E.